Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly for pricing. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing the Credor H2 GBLT 997. This is based on the H2, and of course it is 39 millimeters in diameter in platinum. This one featuring a lapis lazuli colored in-house blue porcelain dial. So Credor, of course, the ultra high-end brand above Grand Seiko, which in turn is above Seiko in the Seiko universe. So this, being made by the Micro Artist Studio up in Shinshu, is as high as high horology gets in Japan, and it is thoroughly Japanese inside out, being culturally and mechanically distinct. The watch is 39 millimeters in diameter, 10.5 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, 45 millimeters across with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This watch was actually a series launched in late 2020 for the 2021 model year, marking 140 years since the founding of the original Seiko company, or the company that would become modern-day Seiko. So it is an anniversary edition in addition to everything else. Now the watch is very easy to wear. Out of the hand and onto the wrist now. We throw it on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference. And you can see it's quite compact. Being only 45 millimeters from lug to lug, you better believe this is a unisex watch. My wrist wears it beautifully, and yes, it easily slides under a cuff. The timepiece from over the top, which always exaggerates the width of a watch. You can see even with an unbroken in strap that's a bit stiff and being pulled tight, those lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. This is a timepiece suitable for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. The strap is high grade, as you can see. Medium and actually small rectangular scale alligator leather, a cut we rarely see. High gloss, super dark blue. You can see it has a folded edge with a monotone stitch on the bottom. A super supple calfskin. There's something about Grand Seiko and Credor straps that they're just like butter, even from the factory. This leather is extraordinarily soft, really putting the Italians to shame. Impressive stuff. Now we've got a clasp right here, which features the Credor, or Crown of Gold, logo on it. And it's a twin trigger release, so you have to press both triggers to pop it open. Now, some brands will give you a hybrid white gold and platinum clasp, or a white gold clasp outright on a platinum watch, mostly because swing arms are very small, and white gold is the hardest of golds and far harder and more mechanically resilient than platinum. But in order to avoid downgrading the level of material used here, Credor kept it an alloy of platinum. So this clasp is made of PT950, which is watchmaking and jewelry grade platinum, but also PT900, which is mechanical grade platinum for strength. You could see how the clasp features the twin trigger release, so it's secure when it is on your wrist. Rolling around to the case, beautifully made. You can see these lugs are sharply broken out from the case band, and that there's a little bit of a rolled bevel on the edge of the lugs. This is all mirror polished to an optically flawless shine using the Zaratsu polishing method that is germane to the Seiko companies, but still impressive as it takes 3 years to learn this tin plate black or mirror polishing, and it is purely a matter of manual dexterity and eye-hand coordination. So this is a thoroughly hand-finished case. We have a gentle tumble home to the case flank, and then a shallow conical bezel. Taking a look, we have the Crown of Gold logo as well on the media blasted and polished crown. The dial, though described as lapis lazuli in some of the press materials, what it is actually the color of lapis. So Ruri Iro, or basically what they would call lapis lazuli in Japanese, it is in fact made of porcelain in a lapis-like color. So porcelain is a type of ceramic that is fired, and this watch has been hand-layered, fired multiple times in an oven, polished after each step to create this wonderfully lustrous, glossy, and enduring deep blue porcelain that is inspired by lapis lazuli. You can see it gets a little bit lighter around the hands and then a little bit lighter around the edge of the dial. And while the original H dials were done by a specialist, this is actually done in-house at the Micro Artist Studio. Micro Artist up in Hsinchu. It is a project established in 2000 where the micro artisans first went to Switzerland, primarily the Vallée du Jeu, where they gathered as much information as they could about traditional belle horlogerie, or the really handcrafted bienfacteurs, the likes of which you see at, for example, Philippe Dufour or Jaeger-LeCoultre or Breguet. And so they took notes, and in some cases they even brought samples of the gentian wood used to polish bevels. So Micro Artist started as a project to aggregate high-end watchmaking knowledge in the studio, where about no more than a few dozen examples of any one watch will be made per year, and the operation is very, very slow. It's also notable that only spring drive watches and quartz watches come out of that studio because Micro Artist is part of the Hsinchu studio that does spring drive and quartz. Now you can see that there's a lovely lunette lancet style seconds hand. We also have baton style hour and minute hands that are fluted down the center for a better contrast. The watch does feature hacking or stop seconds. And then on the back, you saw the dial, which is handmade at Micro Artist, but really when we speak of Micro Artist, we're generally speaking about a level of movement, construction, and finish. And so what we have here is the caliber 7R14. It is a manual wind spring drive. That is the bellflower. And what you're looking at is the symbol of the Micro Artist Studio. So that's very important because when you're looking at a Micro Artist watch, it will have that symbol on it. Now, taking a quick look, you can see that the quality is second to none. We have the bellflower motif again on the open mainspring barrel. We have bevels that are so bright and broad, Philippe Dufour himself would be proud of them. Indeed, they are inspired by the work of Philippe Dufour, which was carefully noted by the Japanese artisans of Micro Artist when they went to Switzerland in the early 2000s. We have here a very different aesthetic with satination across the bridges rather than some sort of Côte de Genève, and it looks more appropriate. Côte de Genève on this watch would seem out of place. We also have, surprisingly, a complication. This watch, despite its simplicity at first glance, is actually a complication with a power reserve indicator on back. Now, for the first 35 hours that the watch is running, a torque recovery device rewinds the mainspring using any excess torque not necessary to drive the governing wheel and the hands, which extends the power reserve to 60 hours from the previous manual wind spring drive 48. And this is spring drive, so what you're looking at on the dial is a truly smooth sweep of the seconds hand. There's no starts, no stops, there's no ticks, there's no tocks. It is a genuine seamless glide. And the reason for this is that the hands are driven by the spring. In fact, the governor is also driven by the spring. Though this is a quartz watch, it features no battery and no capacitor and no motors. So what happens is the spring drives a drivetrain that turns a unidirectional governing wheel. You can see it right there. The governing wheel creates induced electrical current, which activates a quartz oscillator, which in turn uses a feedback circuit, and via a back electromagnetic force, or back EMF, it breaks the governing wheel, slowing it down to a rate that corresponds to outstanding timekeeping in the range of 10 to 15 seconds gained or lost per month. Remember, a mechanical COSC chronometer is -4 +6 per day. So the spring drive gives you fully mechanical drive, but also quartz precision. It's the best of both worlds. We have lovely bevels inside all of the screw and jewel settings, which I particularly love. You can see they're all internally beveled. And then we have fire-blued screws that are large and polished and incredibly attractive. If you look at the skeletonization of the barrel, you can see that the interior surfaces of the bellflower forms have also been micro-beveled, and that the rest has all been satinated on the top. Now, you'll also note the presence of black polished screws, as there are a few of them on the case back of the watch, and all this water resistant down to 30 meters. So dress watch standard, absolutely made in Japan and with pride. Remember, at Micro Artist, at the Hsinchu studio, Nagano Prefecture, only a few maybe 1 to 2 dozen of any given Credor watch and Grand Seiko micro artist watch will be made in a year. And this is a very special piece that adds what was, in my opinion, the most lacking element of the original GBLT H2, which was it was austere. It lacked color. This has color and warmth with even more craft value courtesy of that lapis lazuli colored porcelain dial. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this glorious 41 jewel spring drive opus.